yeah, intro to web scraping with like beautiful soup. Welcome to HackDavis. So yeah, what is web scraping? So essentially, we're going to be like we obviously like have the link to either like google.com or like Facebook or something, but let's say that we wanted to like grab certain data points. So like the website that we're going to be using today is genius.com for lyrics, like artist data and things like that. So with web scraping, to get that data, rather than just using like their API and saying that I want to extract like these certain like albums and like lyric data, we're going to use web scraping to request all of like the HTML content that that web page holds. And then once we receive the request back, what we're going to do is essentially parse it for like specific either like anchor tags for links or like headings for like album names. And I'll show you kind of how to scroll through like an actual like web page in order to find like the data that you're looking for. And then some things to look out for is like dynamic content. So things or like things or like menus, like drop-down menus are sometimes tricky to like scrape if you need to interact with your website before that data is loaded in. So right, web scraping, let's see. So APIs, right, you're interacting directly like with the company. You have a specific token that you use in order for them to kind of like verify that it's you using you're requesting like certain things. Let's see. And so most of the time when you do an APS request, you receive back what's called like a JSON, and then you would just end up having to parse that to get what you would want. But yeah, using web scraping, what we're going to do is essentially what we would like to do is get a data frame with columns like artist name, album, like when was the release date, and then all of the songs. And so things to consider when we're web scraping, right? Looking for an API, like sometimes websites already do have APIs, and more than likely it's a good place to start. Otherwise, like some APIs might not give you direct data for things. Like they might limit you, or like yeah, rate limiting is a thing. We kind of get into that in like the third bullet point, like adding wait times for your requests. Yeah, so checking the terms of service per each website. Like most websites have like their domain.com/robots.txt where you can kind of go in and see who and what they allow for what. So yeah. And then so yeah, overview of the demo again, we're going to go over to genius.com/artists. We're going to extract, right, the song. You can kind of see it from this snippet, but I'll really go on the web page and kind of open it up. And right, the end goal is to be able to create like a pandas data frame that we're able to save like as a CSV, you know, so we can use for either aggregation or filtering or saving to us, you know. Once we have a data frame, we can really do whatever we want. So right, over, if you guys kind of also wanted to follow along, feel free. I'm just gonna like search up like Weezer or something, some random artist, it could be whoever. And so if we look at this artist page, we can see that they have some songs on their page. They only have 10. Otherwise, we would have to like click through here, scroll down. As we can see, like most of these aren't like loaded already onto the page. And so on each artist page, they have popular albums. And so on your browser, if you right click any element, you should be able to open up the inspector page. I'm using Safari. Chrome is probably a popular choice as well. And then so within each, so once we have like the inspector page open, we can kind of like scroll through the real, like the actual HTML of this website. And then we can kind of see like as we scroll through here, like what things are being highlighted for depending on like the code that surrounds it. So like, let's see. And this is kind of how, right, it already showed us like directly what the link or what exactly like the image div was. But if, let's say you weren't able to directly click on something, then kind of like going through here is how you would search for things. So, right, essentially, yeah. What we're gonna want is each of these album links in a minute. So if I head over to a new Google Colab, you guys feel free to as well. So collaboratory.research.google.com, and then just pop open a new notebook. And then, are you guys still following along okay? Let me know. Feel free to type in the chat, like if I'm going too fast, too slow, or if you want me to have any questions or anything. Unmute your mics. I think there's enough, not too many people to where we can have a pretty casual conversation and everybody can bounce ideas off of each other. But right, so a little bit of a kind of like a rundown of Jupyter Notebooks, if you guys aren't familiar. So Jupyter Notebooks are, they're interactive. It's not necessarily like a normal Python file in which the whole entire script is ran through the compiler, like compiled like linearly, and then ran as it's being compiled. Jupyter Notebooks, you're able to split your code into what are called cells. And so each of these individual cell blocks can be ran by themselves. And so as like the very first cell block, I always just like to do my imports. So importing things like pandas beautiful soup, those are gonna be the two libraries that we use today. Import, or let's see, from BS4. So yeah, right, we're gonna import beautiful soup, and then we're gonna import pandas as PD and import requests. And then so I can click run as many times as I want, and it will import all of these libraries just once. And so we can kind of see now that I've ran this code 5 times. And each of these cell blocks has a number counter, and they count in order. So you can kind of follow along. You don't have to run your cells in order. And then that kind of like shows you how you've been running your notebook. It gets pretty interesting, like once you have hundreds of runs for like certain cells or things, kind of trying to debug your code. But great. Yeah, once we have our libraries imported, now we can kind of go in and start getting like our artist data. So for me, I'm just gonna, so you guys could pick any artist. I'm sure this should work, all the script. What it does essentially is, so I'm gonna pick Nirvana. You could pick like multiple word artist, as long as we do, so we'll name this variable artist name. And then artist URL. This is going to be the string So essentially, it's the first half of the artist link. And then we're going to add to this string our artist name. But let's see, artist name, and then dot replace. And then if you have any spaces, we would like to replace that with a dash. So let's, make sure you have that, especially if your artist name has a space in it. If not, then you wouldn't have to worry about that. And then so for the beautiful, like the web scraping part of this, so we're going to send like a response out to this URL that we just generated. So this response variable holds the request, like whether it be like a valid request, invalid request. And then so now, once we have like the request for the web page, we can use Beautiful Soup to get like all of the page content, like the actual HTML that makes up the web page. So very popularly, like this soup variable is just all of the HTML tags, like in the raw form. I'll print it out in a second. Okay, so what this line of code is saying is we're using the response that we got on line 3. We want the content of it, and we're using Beautiful Soup's HTML parser. There's a few other parsers depending on like what format your website is in, but let's see. So let's run this cell, and so we can see we have no error messages. We didn't have any output. I didn't ask it for any output. So if I go in the cell below it and just type in soup, right, this is all of, document type HTML. This is the genius.com artist webpage for, I picked Weezer. And this is what we're going to be looking at to get our data from. So, right, once we have, okay, and then just kind of like clean up our code, Jupyter Notebooks have these cell tabs, or your cells can either be markdown, which is kind of like just text, raw text. You're able to style it slightly, and then also like the Python coding block. So import library. And then the double hashtags is just a heading. Let's see, code text. And then so after this, let's go grab all of the album links from the artist page. So in order to get like a lot of songs from this artist, what I'm going to do is go to each of these album web pages and grab the song names. And then so this will tell us like which album this song originated from. Each of the albums like also have like the release date and things like that. So right, our goal is to, so now, right, we want to go over to this album, and we can see we want the anchor tag. We don't necessarily want the exact image. We can't do too much with the image, but this anchor tag for the link, this is the exact link to that album page. And in the HTML, we can see that the CSS class is vertical album card. And so this is what they use to kind of make sure like classes in like CSS is so that you can like have multiple items like that are similar but like not identical, and you can style them all similarly at the same time. So right, I'm going to copy vertical album card. And then so down here in this block, get links. Okay. So right, we're going to grab the album links and then album. So I'm going to make an albums list, album names, and then album links. Actually, I don't want those. I think I can just do this with the dictionary. So right now that we had that soup, the whole entire page content, we want to find all of those anchor tags that we were talking about that had the class vertical album card, right? And so by calling soup, like this is going back to the variable, and then finding within all of that HTML code, we're going to find the anchor tags that have this class specified as vertical album card. See. And then, okay. And so so this soup.findAll is going to be a list of all of the album cards that we were able to find on the web page. And so we're going to say albums. We're going to start feeding data into this dictionary. So album at the current album title. So each album in this find all list has a title attribute. And so let's see. Okay, so within the dictionary, we're going to create a dictionary that has like the current album title, because like the whole albums dictionary holds each of the albums within it. So this album's name is going to be pretty much exactly, it's going to be the album title as well. Let's see, that wasn't it, album. And then album link is also another data point that we can grab from this page. And then the H references are the actual links within the anchor tags on the HTML page. And then so if we print out albums, let's see. Class A. All right. Yeah, interesting. My albums dictionary is not getting filled. Let's see. album at the title is equal to the current, right? Is it really not genius.com? Oh, I'm sorry. It's instead of artist, it should be in the first cell, it should be plural artists. And then so, right, with the album links, we can definitely see. So, right, this is our dictionary so far. So for each album, we have the current album link and then also the album's name. So right, now once we have like all of those albums, we would like to go to them and then grab the names of each of the songs from those albums. And so we can see here, when we inspected the name of the first song, that it's embedded within an H3 tag, a heading 3 tag, with the class chart underscore row dash content dash title. So again, pretty much how we, using soup.find, specifying the class in H3, this is how we're going to get the name of the song. And then so I'll throw in a little text cell. And then so for album in albums.keys. So what this is going to do is so the dictionary that we got in the previous cell, we're just going to loop through all of the albums in that list. And then we're going to make another response. This code is going to be pretty similar to the original request, but we're going to be using the current album link. And so we're going to get this current album. Let's see. Albums. And then album. So we're accessing the whole dictionary by the current album, and we want the link, right? And then so once we got our response from that web page, we want all of the HTML soup again. Beautiful soup. Response content exactly how we had above. Okay, and then let's see. I'm just going to print out soup to show that we're definitely getting the content of like the last page. So right, we can see that we definitely are getting the HTML, and let's see, yeah, we can kind of see that this is like the what's it called, on the bottom of the web page, the navigation bar between all the different pages. And then, yeah, it definitely looks like we're getting the spans with all of the song names and such. Great. So let me delete that print. So right, now that we definitely do have that web page, let's again find find like the song name. So I'm just going to say unclean songs. I'm going to, I just kind of like creating this workshop, I know that by grabbing this H3, it's also going to grab the children with inside of it, the span. And so we kind of have to clean up the song title. So let's see, so find all. So we're going to find all of the song title heading 3s again. And then this time the class is equal to, we said chart row dash content title. And then at the end, I'll just print out what all the unclean song names would look like. So right, we can see now, instead of the whole web page, we have just the song names heading tags. And so right, it's like how do we clean this? Like how do we get just the names? And so as unclean song names is a list, I'll actually make like a normal song names list as well to store all of our cleaned song names. So for so again, for each of those unclean song names in the unclean songs list, what we're going to do is we're going to strip out, so first, just the text. So instead of those tags, like those HTML tags, we'll remove those. Let's see. So the clean song name would be the unclean song name dot text. Let's see. And then we'll append this into our normal song names list. Sweet. And then I think and then let me print out like the normal song names list to see where we got so far. Sweet. So we can kind of see that we were able to get rid of the tags, but we have new line characters that kind of divide up the names. And then we also have lyrics in here. So, right, we obviously don't want to be saving that to our data. Otherwise, it won't be like the actual song names. So let's take that out. So we were able to get the text, and then let's just say, and then so clean song name again is going to be, so I'm going to index this. I'm just going to do by -10 to, so from 0, so we want everything up until like 10 elements before the last. So I want to cut off that lyrics. I don't want lyrics to show up in my album name anymore. And then in order to get rid of all of that white space, we'll do .strip. And if we run this cell again, we'd see that we were able to get all of just the song names by itself. Let's see. It's interesting, this one, it looks like something to do with like the spacing it's not corrupting like the characters, but it's changing like the binary number for like the character or something. And then, but anyways, cool. So we have like this song names list, and let's add that to our album dictionary. So for all of our albums, this current album, their songs, right? This album songs are equal to song names. And that's pretty much for that. So let me add like code or a comment here, get song names. Cool, once we have that, let's get our, like the album release date next. So, let's see, so release date, this is going to be soup.find. So instead of using find all like previously, we're just going to use just .find. The difference between these two functions is .find, I believe, returns the first. Yeah, I guess my code is telling me it does definitely return only the first child of this tag, matching the criteria, versus find all will return a list with all of the elements that had that same name. But right, so how are we going to get this release date? So let's inspect this release date again, and we can see it's within this division. And again, we want to see what class this div has. So metadata unit. So remembering that it's a div with metadata unit class, we're going to specify div and then class metadata unit. Sweet. And so now we can say that this album, this album's release date is equal to sweet. And then song names. Album.songs. Songs names. Gotcha. Cool. And so let me print out our album's dictionary again, now that we have all of the songs with the song's release dates, with the album's release date. Sweet. And so for Nirvana, we have a couple different albums. Let's see, release date. Oh, I forgot to grab just the text from there. Good thing I printed that out. Let's see, so release date, album, and all of the songs. Great. And then .text. So release date .text. So what this is going to do again is strip down all of the division tags from the release date. And let's see. I also noticed that it has the word release in it. So we definitely want to take that out. So I think we can honestly just cut it out if we, let's see. line of code is a bit hacky, but if we get the length of released, then we would be able to cut out that from each of the albums. And so release date, yeah, now we only have just August 31st, 2010. Great. And so now let's put all of this together into a pandas data frame so we can see it like in a table view. And then potentially after that, save it to like CSV. We're able to like do aggregations on it, on that data, filter it, a whole bunch of other stuff. So our goal for the CSV are going to be the index, artist name, album, the release year, and then the song name. Right, this is all, I believe this is the data that we have. And then so we're just going to create an empty list, and this list is just going to hold all of the rows of our table. And so again, we want to loop through every single album that we have in our album dictionary. And then so with this, the idea behind this data frame is that every single row is going to be an individual song. And then so again, for each of those albums has a song. And so for song in album, so we're going to index all the songs from the current album. And then so we're going to say this current row is equal to this dictionary. So this is kind of where we're going to build each and every row. And then so this artist variable is being captured from the very, very top. We set that like that was like our fourth line of code. Artist name, album, name is next. And so we get this album name from, let's see, albums. So the current album, album, and then release year. This is going to be the list of the current album. Yeah, we want to grab this current album's release date, and then the song name is just going to be the song name. And then let's see. So what we're going to do with this row is we're going to append this current row into our rows list. Let's see. Let's create let's put this row into a data frame first. And then from dictionary, as the curly braces in Python specify that this would be a dictionary. It could be a set as well, but I don't believe sets kind of have like the key value pairs. So from dictionary, and then we're going to do the row, right? And then so let's append this row into all of the rows. And then let's check out our rows. And let's concatenate all of our rows together. Artist underscore name. And then song name for, sweet. Instead of song name, my variable was song. And then now, great, we can kind of see that we captured 186 different songs from all of those albums. And we can see album name, release year. I want to see, let's see, df.tail. Yeah, this should print out 50 points. So we see that we definitely have all of the song data that we were looking for from all of those albums. And then this code definitely works. If we wanted to type in any artist, and then let me just run all of our cells linearly. So sweet, we could see that we got all of their albums. Currently, it's parsing all of the song data from each of the album pages. And then once that's done, we should see our album data be printed out. Sweet. Does anybody have any questions? Were you guys able to follow along pretty well? And then, right, once this data frame is captured, to CSV, and then sweet, df to CSV, and then song data, whatever you'd like to name that that file. And then in Colab, right, we have song data.csv, which would be the whole data frame. Sweet. Does anybody have any kind of questions on any of the code that we went through, or did anybody find an artist that didn't work?
Or maybe does anybody have artist suggestions?
Yeah. Sweet. And then, yeah, right, once we're able to, once we have this data frame, we can like parse the data. We can sort it by like release date. There's a couple other things from Genius that we could have gotten, like such as like the view count, sort by view counts. There's a lot of powerful things that you can do once you have that. Sweet. Does anybody have any questions? And then so kind of, yeah.
Could you show your get albums for?
Yeah, my bad. Do I need to scroll up one more?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, get album links.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How did you hide the output after you ran one of the cells?
Yeah, is there a specific cell that you were, so like if the cell doesn't like have an output, then it won't really say anything or do anything. But was there a specific cell that you?
Like some of them are super long. Like parse song data from each album page.
Mhm.
Like when actually, I think you deleted, but when you had like albums over there.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah. I
use
just
that?
printed out like the whole
Yeah.
dictionary. My
So
bad.
how would you like hide it, I guess?
I think at the very bottom you have a line that says albums, right? Just albums by itself, or does it say print albums?
It's just albums, yeah.
Yeah, delete that one.
Okay.
Because I think if you had like an x equals like 10, if you just typed in x, it just outputs like whatever that variable is. Interesting enough. You don't need to like specify like print in Jupyter Notebooks.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Awesome. Yeah, that's I guess would be the end of the workshop, guys. If you guys don't have too many other questions or anything, we'll still hang out. But this is kind of what I had for the workshop. Just kind of being able to like learn how to like right click, like inspect like the web pages in order to get the content that we want, like looking for like what kind of tag, like HTML tag that item is in, and then looking for the class. I think the class is just the easiest way